Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this in the world. I hope you guys are doing okay. So today there are two topics that I want to discuss regarding Tekken and the state that it's in right now. This is going to be followed up by a conversation that I'll have with King J at some point. We're just trying to align our schedules, but for the time being, I do want to cover two things. Now the first one is minor, and it comes from YouTuber D All The Way G. Shout out to D All The Way. I saw it on his channel, and I wanted to cover it very briefly because I did cover offensive names in this game previously, and I did give my opinion on people that are dressing up as less than well received previous world leaders, let's just say, so we don't get demonetized. And I said that there are levels to things, and I think with the costumes it's not that deep. I think people just need to be a bit more hands off with it. Personally, with the names, it's a bit easier to regulate those sort of things, so I think banning certain names that, I hate N-words, for example, I think that is much easier to circumnavigate. But the reason that I was a bit against the costumes being banned is because if you look through human history, and obviously the World War being the most recent one, a lot of people are very quick to identify, the NAZI. I don't want to get demonetized here. You say one thing wrong on YouTube and they turn you upside down. You guys know what I'm talking about. The bad guys from World War II. It's very easy for people in our generation to recognize them because they're the most recent offenders, I guess you would say, of something of like a global scale. But the reason that I was against it was because if you take that stance against those people from that time, then you kind of have to take that stance against all people from all periods of time. So I gave the example of Idi Amin, I gave the example of Genghis Khan, I gave the example of Oda Nobunaga. You could give the example of anyone really. You could say Saddam Hussein, you could say Vladimir Putin. There's loads of people you might want to put in the bracket of doing unsavory things. And at what point do you stop people from creating costumes, which was what my argument was, because even then, if you really, really want to go deep with it, there are people even on like a more minor scale that you could start pointing out, maybe didn't necessarily start world wars, but you could dress them up, for example. And my argument is, where do we stop with the costumes? If it's based on historical figures that have done bad things to people, where do we draw the line? Because if somebody's walking around as Oda Nobunaga, he might seem cool to people now that don't really know the history of that particular samurai, but people that do understand the age of war that Japan went through for almost 500 years understand the untold amount of suffering that Oda Nobunaga caused the Japanese people and people in the surrounding islands. So do we ban Nobunaga costumes? And then that calls into another discussion, what do we do with Oda Nobunaga? Just as an example, because he's somebody that people can easily identify. You've probably heard his name in Dynasty Warriors. You've probably heard his name in Sengoku Basara. You've certainly seen him in animes, and he is depicted in Onimusha as well. So I know some of you older heads will know about that game. So that was my argument. However, on the subject of names, I think names are much, much easier to deal with. So for example, as you can see on the screen right now, I'm not going to read that name out. But as far as I'm concerned, those sort of things cross a line. Because to me, when it comes to costumes and world leaders, there's a lot of like flippant opinions that can be floated around. But there's nothing you can really say in defense of this. There's no road to expression with this sort of thing. It's very clear, cut and dry. And I think Namco should take action against these people. Now, the problem is that I'm not going to hold Namco's feet to the fire regarding this thing. I'm about to hold their feet to the fire, but not regarding this. And the reason that I'm not holding their feet to the fire on this is that there is only one real way to solve this issue, and that is to just use PSN names or Steam names. If you allow people to create names, you will undoubtedly run into this problem until the end of time. People will find ways to navigate around the system to write unsavory things about people, about children, about animals, about all sorts of things, religion. It could be anything. And so the only real solution to this is either A, be reactionary, but you're going to be reactionary until the end of time because trolls do what trolls do, or just ban creating names altogether and just use your PSN, your Steam account, or your Xbox Live. And that's really it. So in terms of this, would I be against this? Oh, 100%. I can't stand people that do those sort of things. They're bottom of the barrel garbage to me. So banning something like that is very clear, cut and dry. I hope I've made my argument clear regarding that. What I want to move on to now is something that I'm really, really not happy with when it comes to Tekken. So patch notes dropped for Tekken 8 fairly recently. And I went through the patch notes, and the most interesting thing in the patch notes is where it says measures against players discovered cheating in ranked match. And then it says high-ranking players who were reported multiple times and were found to have cheated were removed from the leaderboard and their ranks were reset to beginner. That is some of the most underwhelming bullshit that I have ever heard in my life. Namco, Harada, and Michael Murray understand what is going on here. There's no way anybody can play dumb. This situation has been going on since Tekken 7, probably before that, but I can't remember. But it was really prevalent in Tekken 7, and it's even worse now. And the fact that we do not have a fix for rage quitters almost 10 years down the line is absolutely ridiculous. Now, Namco have provided us with a near perfect fighting game, and I honestly mean that. The honeymoon phase of Tekken 8 has kind of passed for me. Usually that takes about 2 weeks to a month for people. For me, it's about 2 weeks and I'll figure out if I'm going to enjoy the game or not. I absolutely love it as a fighting game. In terms of what they've presented, it's near perfect. It is really, really good. I can't stress that enough. I'm very, very impressed with Tekken 8. But the one thing that is really dragging it down, and I mean seriously dragging it down, is this rage quitter situation. Because Tekken has now passed the point where people are interested in the story mode. And what I mean by that is, everybody that's got Tekken 8, or I'd say the large majority of people that have Tekken 8, have played the story mode, have played Tekken Ball, have been to the Tekken Lounge, and they've basically done all the other things that they'd want to do. They've customized their game, they've customized their characters, they fiddled with the music, and so what is left? Playing online. So if that's what we're left with, and this is the state it's been left in, it doesn't look good. It really, really doesn't look good. For them to come out and say, we are resetting the ranks of these people back to beginner, that does not help me or the millions of people playing this game. All those cheaters are going to do is wake up in the morning, and by the afternoon they're going to be God of Destruction again, because they're cheaters. They're going to find a way around it. I wasn't even one of the people that was saying ban them. Well, I might have mentioned it here and there, but that wasn't like my first suggestion. In my mind, the best suggestion is to take their points when they plug. I really couldn't care less if it's your Wi-Fi and you accidentally plug. Get better internet, it's not my problem. Take away their points and give me my points. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go through this whole legalities thing. And on the topic of legalities, I don't know what Michael Murray is going on about. I actually looked into this, and I looked into other companies that ban people that do things they shouldn't be doing on their games. And two of the examples I want to pull are Steam and Super Smash Bros. If you mess around on Super Smash Bros, you get a ban. If you mess around on Steam, your account can get banned. Oh, they were very, very quick to ban you if you were illegally playing the game when the closed network test was going on. There was no legalities around that. They were very, very quick to shut down modders. Done that overnight. As soon as the Tekken shop was announced, that was gone overnight. But for some reason, there's legalities around banning people that are actually breaking the system. That's bullshit. I looked into it. I did some reading on some other games. This is something that games have been doing for a long time. Whether they lock you out for 24 hours or they give you a 48-hour suspension, or they put you in a rage quitter zone where you only play other rage quitters, or they simply, like I said, give you your points. Games have been doing this for a long time, and the fact that we have the premier fighting game, this is basically the cream of the crop. This is better than Street Fighter and better than Mortal Kombat as a whole package. I think everyone agrees on that. Obviously, there's people that differ in terms of what they prefer gameplay wise, but as a full package of the three major fighting games, Tekken has taken the throne this generation. And yet somehow, with all of these rich features, somehow they messed up and this went over their heads. So I've got a couple of screen grabs here from Twitter, and I saw Mrs. Playstuff had posted this tweet, and they put there, one thing though, out of all the people they have in the ban list, I really do hope Faribors is in this list of bans as number one, because he is literally famous for cheating. Literally our veteran cheater. And she's not joking. I believe the main man was talking about this on his channel as well, that this guy, you cannot beat him if he doesn't want you to win. He has scripts running where he'll auto parry lows, he'll duck highs, he'll punish you, the correct punish. He has one button electrics. You can't beat him.
Lord Firebars from La France has been live streaming using Cheat Engine to get high ranks for about 7 years now.
And so she's put this tweet up, rightfully so. And then Tekken tweeted saying, after today's patch, reported cheating players in ranked matches have been removed from the leaderboard and their ranks have now been reset to beginner. And then Momo posted, yeah, sure. And who's that? Faribos. This notorious cheater has somehow flown under the radar for God knows how long. It is honestly baffling to me. There you guys can see, he's in the top 10 still. So clearly it didn't work. Clearly it's gone over Namco's head. Now again, I've said that they can do this. I really don't care. Now obviously, in terms of legalities and banning people, they've worked that out because they've just banned a bunch of people. So that list that Harada was talking about, as you can see here in this tweet where he says, now Michael has sent the development team and me a huge Excel list. The file name of that Excel is a list of fuckers to ban, and it contains a lot of pluggers, particularly bad players and those who brag about their plagger behavior on social networking sites are circled in a bloody red box. That's all well and good, ban them. That still doesn't help. That still does not help the rest of us that are dealing with people. And let me tell you something. Yeah, if Michael Murray and Harada are listening, the bulk of the plugging is not happening right at the top, and the bulk of the plugging is not happening right at the bottom. The bulk of the plugging is happening in the blue ranks. For anybody else that is in the blue ranks, you can probably attest to this. The blue ranks are an absolute nightmare because in the blue ranks, you are amongst very high level players and cheaters, and they're all mixed into one. I don't know why it's happening in the blue ranks, it just is. I guess it's because it's before you get to the elite ranks, and it's after you've passed the more beginner to intermediate stages. I am stuck at Cushion right now. I'm trying to get to Bushin or whatever it's called, but oh my god, the plugging is just insane. It is just non-stop, and you guys have probably been seeing in the background here people plugging against famous players around the world or people from my Discord. It is literally non-stop. It is ruining the experience of Tekken. And then somebody must have made a Reddit thread about Michael Murray, and Michael Murray tweeted saying, just because I saw that random hater on Reddit, I've played about 80 hours on retail version and I've only experienced one rage quit, so what? How many of the people in your community are telling you this is happening over and over again? I mean, just look at the videos on my channel. The background footage, I always have a rage quitter in there. Like, people have started to make jokes about it. Every time I upload, there's a bloody rage quitter in my footage. Like, sort it out. I don't even care if you don't ban them. Give them a penalty, take away their points, because the reason why they're rage quitting is because there's no penalty and they want to appear strong. They want to have the nice shiny rank. Now, I like to actually be good at the game, and so I learned, but I also want to get the nice shiny rank, and I cannot get it if the idiots keep on doing it and you don't have a system to fix it. Just because you encountered one doesn't mean jack shit. I've even had people in my comment section saying that they've been lucky enough to not encounter these problems. A lot of us have been unlucky enough to encounter them, and it is in your face every day. People are posting it all over Twitter. I've posted it in this video. How much more proof do you need? Just take their points and give it to us. I don't care about Wi-Fi and Ethernet. If people can't afford decent internet, that's their own problem. That's not the problem of the people that have paid for it and have paid for the game to experience it in a certain way.
Just report him. Yeah, after he's already fucked me, you want me to report him. And then that same guy gets to fuck over someone else. And then he gets reported by that guy. And then, so you're telling me he gets to bend everyone over once.
And then you have Repo of the Fool saying, I've hardly invested as much time as the next person in ranked, but even I have had 2 disconnects so far within about an hour and a half of playtime. It's a real thing, and people that have played much more than myself most likely experience this regularly. Michael Murray replied saying, my point wasn't that people don't do it, it was that isn't why I'm listing up offenders for the ban list. I guess you didn't see the comments from that certain petty person. Now, I don't know what Michael Murray's going on about with, and honestly I don't care. I saw this funny response from Uncle Jane. He said, no offense, Michael, but you're not high enough ranked to run into all of the ranked pluggers. And listen, I don't know what rank you guys are that are listening to this video, but just take it from me. When you get into blue ranks, you're going to have a rough time. Not just because there's genuinely strong players in blue rank, but the pluggers just seem to congregate there. I don't understand why. It's like their haven or their hotspot. It's like the queen's nest is in the blue ranks, and us decent players are trying to get out of it. And then this person, my gun is my homie, said, imagine banning the people manually instead of implementing an automatic system that gives a penalty to the plugger like every other game. And then Michael Murray says, yeah, because that works so well. I've been timed out in games for not doing anything at all. So what? So what? If I go into a ranked game and you're just standing there, that's your own problem. Now, you're going to lose anyway because the person on the other end of the screen is not going to stand there and wait. They might wait for a little bit, but if you're not doing anything, they're just going to hit you and take the points anyway. So that's a moot point. This is a very, very, very simple fix, and I don't understand why they won't do it. It really makes no sense to me. I would love to talk to them and ask them why. If they could give me a logical reason why all these other fighting games do it, but they won't. Even down to Smash Brothers, okay? The game that we can't even decide if it's a fighting game has a better online system in terms of dealing with rage quitters. Tekken which is the premier fighting game, the cream of the crop, the top of the mountain, has dog shit ideas when it comes to dealing with rage quitters. How can you create a game so good and overlook this? And the worst thing is that this is so important because now that we've, like I said, passed the honeymoon phase where we've done everything that we'd want to do, we're going to be playing online. That's where the bulk of this game is going to be spent now. We're not going to be doing anything else. Eddie Gordo's going to come out, we're going to go online and try him. Maybe you release new stages, we're going to go online and try them. We customize our characters, we're going to go online and show them off. Everything exists online. This needs to be priority number one to Namco. You can't come out of these dumb excuses like, oh, that worked so well before. It has always worked well. That has always worked well. It's never been a problem before. Now, there might come a time, and there was a time actually, where I was sitting here and I accidentally knocked my router and I unplugged, I think when I was playing Street Fighter 4, and I got penalized. And you know what? It was my fault. My dumbass should have been sitting that close to the router. I should have been paying more attention. Now, the people have paid hard-earned money to play your game, and like I said, in terms of a fighting game, it's near perfect. I haven't got much to criticize Tekken on, but this is a big glaring problem, and this is an even bigger problem because this already happened in Tekken 7, and it happened in Tekken 7 throughout the entirety of the game's lifespan. Now, I believe at some point, maybe earlier on or midway through, there was penalties in place for Tekken 7. I can't remember exactly, it's been a little while since I played ranked on Tekken 7, but if there wasn't, that's bad, and if there was, that's also bad because why is it not in this game? I could really be here all day ranting about the rage quitting situation on this game. It is actually really just mind-boggling, but I'm going to close it off there. Now, what I will add to this is that obviously there's a lot of new subscribers to the channel and there's a lot of people that are seeing my channel for the first time, and if you're one of those people that are confused why I'm ranting about the video game, it's because this is a video game channel. If someone comments in my comment section and says, grow up, it's just a video game, I'm going to say grow up and go comment on something that you think is grown up. Why are you over here? Now, you're free to comment if you want, by all means. I don't delete comments, say whatever you want, but it's a little bit perplexing that you'd click on a channel that is all about video games and then be surprised when I'm talking about video games. And just to add to that, this is a critique channel. I don't really upload gameplay on its own anymore. I was doing that for a while. It's more where I share my opinions. It's what I was doing during the pandemic and I stopped, and now I've come back to do it and I'm enjoying it again. So for anyone that's confused, this is a channel that critiques things, and I will give things their flowers when they deserve them, and we've given Tekken its flowers. Tekken deserves all the praise in the world. I gave Street Fighter 6 its flowers. Hopefully I get to give Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero its flowers because I'm very excited to play that. But again, this is a channel that offers mid to harsh critiques on games. Maybe things that people don't really want to talk about or things that I have on my mind that I want to get across. So again, if you're confused, that's what it's for. For everyone else, thank you for tuning into the channel. I appreciate it as always. Those membership overhauls are coming. I'm just trying to figure it out, you know, because I want to make sure if you are going to subscribe, I know some of you have done it already, even though I told you not to, but I appreciate it. It's really nice of you that you do that. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do to make your money worth it. So stay tuned for that. I have read your suggestions. I read the comments, so don't worry. And yeah, there'll be a video on here soon. Possibly me and King J just talking about some of the issues in Tekken. But anyways, guys, take care, have a good day, and peace.